Time for divine shot, KJ events. This real talk's the brand. You understand how we do, my man. I'm on that Friday night Knicks shit, dripping in Knicks shit. Up in the world most famous arena with a click. That's the conglomerate. The Knicks real talk is real prominent. I'm a bit like the Omicron variant, so dominant. Paying homage to the cat in the chat. That's where it's at. Cause I'm hearing that. You don't care for hyperbole, we straight facts. We interact with the mob, the gods. Up in the pod, the squad, the side. My entourage be on the job, my energy. Feeling tripping in 10 books. As they cook my game plan, let my brand for loot and pursuit. Going hard like the New York City gritty committee. Cause that the Knicks we know is pretty, but we all stay giddy. But we embrace the fan base like the late Anthony Mace. We create the logo when there's hair space that appear like square space. Staring down on the Chase Bridge, look at that Knicks City drip. There's 50 Dexters on the court, looking pretty legit. I stay true to the orange and blue. I thought you knew for him a few bars to shine like stars divine on Mount Mars. Knicks real talk. Here we go, let's go.
Knicks real talk right here. I'm representing
Knicks real talk.
right here.
Here we go, let's go.
We here in the building.
Knicks real talk.
Let's get it.
Here we go, let's go.
Yeah, for real. Yes, sir.
Knicks real talk.
We here.
Here we go, let's go.
Knicks real talk. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, for real. Yes, sir.
Let's get it. Yo, salute. Good evening, everyone. Good Sunday to you, man. Knicks real talk. Let's get it. We in the building. Divine and Shaw Powers, man. Salute to KJ, wherever you at, my brother. But we in here, man. It's a beautiful Sunday night. We're gonna talk a couple of Nick things, man, and then try to close out the night, man. Salute to my man, Shaw Powers. Shaw Powers, what's going on, brother? Microphone.
Salute to you, Divine. Salute to the chat. I know what KJ is. He out there hitting them golf balls like 3,000 yards and stuff like that. Salute to my man, KJ. Let's get it.
Yeah, real talk, man. Salute to the chat. G-Man, be civilized. Laker fans, my brother, salute to you. Ain't seen you in a minute. Glad you won. Juan popping up in the building as well. Man, it's like a beautiful Sunday night. Let me get the real stuff out the way. Y'all see this NY right here. We went to Atlanta Braves came to New York and got the business handed to them. Check out the ground, Mark shirts and all the guys popped off. You know how you Yankee fans that y'all live and fight. Man, it's all good. But I'm glad to be here, man. With my man, we're gonna talk a couple of things with the New York Knicks. Basically, man, what I got going on tonight, what the panel got going on tonight, is that 3-team trade with the Lakers possibility. Even though it's kind of old news, but it's news. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about D Rose, and we're gonna talk about Cam Reddish. You know, these two guys still going to be part of this thing. The Knicks want D Rose to come back. I know that's their Tom Tibbs, man, and all them things, but it's going to be interesting to see how we can get down shop, how with him backing up Jalen Brunson this year. That might not be a bad look for a team that's trying to get into the playoffs and put some work in. So having D Rose come back might be a great thing for the Knicks. We'll talk about that as well. And Cam Reddish, to me, is you know what is the Knicks going to do with Cam Reddish? I mean, for sure, we know he's on the team right now, but you always hear his name in trade speculations. So, you know, the Knicks going to get it and just let the brother come here and flourish in New York, or they're going to look to put him in the deal, you know, because, it could have happened last year. So we're going to get into all that, break it all down. But I'm excited to be here, man. I had a good weekend. Everything is good. And I'm just ready to talk some Knicks shop house, man. You know what it is.
Yeah, man, it's great just to be on, just to be talking a little bit of some Knicks updates, some rumors that's going around in the universe and stuff, some old rumors that are resurfacing and stuff like that. So, you know, it's good time to get on and talk. It's a nice Sunday outside. Had a pretty decent day and stuff like that. Let's talk about it. Let's get it.
Yeah. Salute to the chat. Darren Wayne, my man. You know what it is. Cash Out James, my brother. Everybody, man. I hope y'all had a great Sunday, like I said. But yeah, man, interesting, man. We had a pretty decent offseason. Things been moving. A lot of noise out there, especially since the offseason, you know, with the free agency and all that, you know, stuff like that, and the draft, the trade. We got speculation out there about this and that. But first and foremost, I think the Knicks had a pretty decent summer this year. I really got to say they had a pretty good summer. Overall, they brought back some players like Mitchell Robinson. They brought in Jalen Brunson. They got a lot of draft capital. They did not do nothing in the draft but take Trevor, what's his name, Keel. We drafted Keels. And, but other than that, man, we kind of stood back and just made some maneuvers to get the salary cap together, but we can go out there and make some moves. I think we did that by getting rid of that 11 pick, trading them for them 3 unprotected and whatever the case may be. And that helped us move the next day. Right after that, you move Alex Burks, you move Kemba Walker, you move Nerlens Noel, you create enough cap space, then you go and sign Jalen Brunson and Harkenstein, Mitchell Robinson. So, it was a pretty decent thing so far, and it still could be moved and made from a trade perspective. But I think so far, the Knicks did pretty good coming out the gate, Chop Howard. Even Summer League was impressive. You know, the young boys showed and proved they were doing anything in summer league. They didn't win it all, but they was close. But you've seen some encouraging things with Quentin Grimes, things of that nature with Farian Hunt and them guys were doing Jericho Sims. So they had a pretty decent offseason. Now it's really trying to get down to the nitty gritty another month when it comes down to training camp. But we know we got the Donovan Mitchell thing out there in the air. So, you know, it's interesting to see if the Knicks going to deal with that, especially with that 3-team trade that was out there. What you think about the Knicks all season so far?
Well, let me tell you this, man. We started the draft night off with no money cap, no money. Didn't know who we was gonna pick in the trade, and you know, the night that they came out and they said news mang dang, you know, everybody was super duper surprised. We turned that trade into the first round picks. We moved on from Noel Burks and Kemba. We acquired Donovan. We acquired Jalen Brunson, and we're on the hunt right now to see if we can capture Donovan Mitchell. We re-signed Mitchell Robinson. We got Hardenstein in here, and we also re-signed Sims to a nice little contract for himself. So what can you say, man? This front office is really making some moves, man. The projection, the way they're moving the team forward in these last couple of years that they've been here is a really eye opener from years prior. You know, right now we're looking to try to get this deal done with Donovan Mitchell. It may happen, and one of the things that's out there, Rose is not going to get fleeced. He's not going to give up too much of the young, so it seems that he's not going to give up too much of the young core and too many draft picks to what Danny Ainge is wanting. So it's just a waiting game right now. Everybody's on vacation right now. They probably come back at the end of the month, right around Labor Day. So we see what happens around then. I think the front office has done an excellent job, man. Acquiring Jalen Brunson, acquiring 11 first-round picks, acquiring another 11 second-round picks. Making some big statements in the backcourt, re-signing Mitchell Robinson and bringing Hardenstein in here. I think we done. If I could give it a grade, I would give it A minus. You know what I mean? Because we need to need to make a couple more moves and stuff like that. And what we're about to talk about, that three trade deal, is something that, you know, we're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah, real talk. Salute to the chat, man. Y'all make sure you hit that like and subscribe coming in the door, man. You know what it is. You know, it's real interesting, man. I like the thing that we heard there with the Utah Jazz, the New York Knicks, and the LA Lakers. Russell Westbrook, you know, going in that and within that circle to the obviously winding up in the Utah Jazz with a bunch of draft picks. The Knicks acquired Donovan Mitchell, and I think it was Randle moving over that way, and whoever else may be in that deal with them. For me, I think it's a win-win-win for all three teams. I think it's a win-win-win for all three teams. And what I'm really excited about it is we get to keep the players that we don't have to give up so many players. You know what I mean? We get to keep the especially the Grimes, the Obi, and the Quickly, and they having a pretty good summer for what I see. So we don't seem like we wouldn't have to get away from them players that we don't want to give in the Donovan Mitchell deal, because we think that's just going to be a good part of our team on them small contracts and them rookie scale contracts. Plus they talented. So I think that trade can work, especially if they wind up with an aspiring Russell Westbrook deal about between the Knicks and the Lakers, like 7 picks. I think 8 picks. You know what I mean? I think Danny Ainge to be right up his wheelhouse, and they can release Russell Westbrook and just do what they're gonna do, which is to go out there and tank and try to get that number 1 draft pick or a couple of picks for that case. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that pan out. But I like the deal from all sides. I really think it works out, and I'm not saying that because I want to get rid of Julius, but that's what the Knicks want to do, not because what I want to do. If the Knicks want to move on from Julius, that's a perfect scenario to do it. To be able to send Julius to a contender, send Donovan Mitchell here as being a number 1 for now, and sending Westbrook and them picks to Utah. Everybody winning that shot, pal, and I think it'd be a good thing to do if the Knicks can pull that off. That's if they want to get rid of Julius. If they don't want to get rid of Julius, then that don't mean nothing to me. But if they want to get rid of Julius Randle, like I said, I think that's a good thing to do.
Yeah, I see a deal, and I think it's I don't know how funny this may sound, man, but I think somehow, some way in the deal, the Lakers get Julius Randle, Cam Reddish, maybe Rose, and we get Donovan Mitchell. Utah gets maybe 4 first unprotected picks and maybe 2 other picks. And plus they'll get let me see how this was it Evan Fournier, and I hate to say this out loud, but it might be. I don't think they're going to let Grimes go, and I don't think they're going to let Obi go. So the only other person that I can see that could possibly go in a deal like this is IQ. And then LA would give up 2 first-round picks and probably move one of their would get another player from Utah. I don't know who, maybe maybe one of those guys that's around 12 to 14 minutes. They have a guy on there that was he not too long ago he was a 6 man off the bench. I can't remember his name right now. Utah.
Clarkson.
Man, Clarkson. I think his name is Clarkson.
Yeah,
maybe Clarkson can move over to LA to try to facilitate some of the money. So everything work out. I don't know exactly how it would actually put together, but I see 3 players going to LA. I think Utah would give LA 1 or 2 players. We may take 1 or 2 of those draft picks. I think they say maybe 27 and 29 or something like that from LA. Give them 2 picks. We'll give them 4 unprotected picks, and we go from there. Or we give them the 4 unprotected picks. Will keep LA's 2 picks and 20 first round picks in 27 and 29, and we give them 2 protected picks that we have or something like that. So it's a lot of things out there that's like how you can make this deal happen, and we will receive Westbrook. We will be the ones who would relinquish him from his contract instead of Utah. I think that way would go. But it's so many different. The way you said it, that's one way. It's so many. It's about 3 or 4 ways that's out there that all this thing can work out, and this three trade deal could really work out. But I know the two major pieces from us, we would give up Julius Randle and Cam Reddish.
Yeah, let me reiterate to the chat to ease your mind. We are not helping the Lakers. The Lakers are actually helping us.
Right, we're helping ourselves. They in the West.
Yeah, we getting rid of possible Randall's contract, and they might throw Fournier to make Westbrook money work or whatever the case. But I know they want Cam Reddish for sure. But I don't think we helping the Lakers. The Lakers helping us, because here's why. If we move Julius Randle and Cam Reddish, what you're going to have to pay next year, right? You're going to have to. He's going to be extended next year. You getting rid of Julius Randle's long contract to give it to Donovan Mitchell. That's all you're doing. You really, to me, it's just getting Randle to LA. You got to match. You got to match Westbrook's money. I think that they're going to go through the Knicks to them, because the Knicks want to do this deal to get Randle's contract off. Because see, Randle's contract can become Donovan Mitchell's contract now. So when you extend R.J. Barrett, you won't be near the luxury tax. So if you swapping Randle for that, deal is going to wind up being you swapping Randle for Donovan Mitchell basically in picks. So it makes sense for the Knicks guy from this perspective. Now you don't have to be that close to the luxury tax if you do go sign RJ over the cap. You know what I mean? Because now you just washed away. You went I guess Cam Reddish and Julius Randle, then that equals Donovan Mitchell's contract. I'm talking about dollar wise. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's a good way to go for each team. And here's the key to that. Now you're not giving up Obi Toppin. Now you're not giving up Quentin Grimes. You might not have to give up quickly, because you got the money that makes, I think, Westbrook kind of catches Donovan Mitchell making $30 million. He made 47. So even if you got to kind of get close to that 47, I think you still good. You know what I mean? And I think that it just works out for all 3 teams. And if that's only if the Knicks want to move Julius Randle. If Knicks don't want to move Julius Randle, then you're going to have to go Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish over to the Lakers, and whatever case to match that 47. But I do think that if it were to happen, I would not be mad at it whatsoever. And I like Julius Randle, but it's not about me. It's about what the Knicks front office want. I'm just a fan. You know what I mean? If the Knicks front office wanted to move on from Julius Randle, then it couldn't be a better deal. And I think Julius Randle would be motivated to go to LA. You know what I mean? To go out there and play with LeBron James and Anthony Davis and help them boys try to battle in the West. It ain't our problem no more. He in the East, he's in the West now. So I think it's all good, man. I don't even know if that's the case, but I would do the deal knowing that you don't have to send them young boys that we got out down there now that look like they're going to break out the season and have a pretty good year. The Knicks won't have to move the toppers and the grinds. And I can't say that enough, man, because I think these young boys are going to be pretty good this year. So we'll see, man. We'll see how it goes. It's an interesting trade, but, and I think Mike Scudero reported it, if I'm saying his name right. I seen it on Twitter and Bleacher Report. If the deal is legit, then you know what? I think they should all go for it. I shop out. I think it works out for all three parties. Everybody gets happy. Nobody gets fleeced. And we didn't have to give up some of those young boys we got, man. And I think that's just the way to go for the Knicks if they can pull that off.
We have to really sit back and think about who we really going to put into this trade to get Donovan Mitchell. And one of our young guys is going to go, if it's IQ, if it's Grimes, IQ or Grimes. They're talking Obi. I don't think Obi will go, but IQ and Grimes are some guys that we have to mention when we're talking about making this trade. And we have to be ready. If we really want Donovan Mitchell, we may have to give up. I don't want to give up. All right, let me just say this. I don't want to give up Grimes, and I don't want to give up Cam Reddish. I don't want to give up both the wings. We have to try to keep one of those wings. And so it's really up in, it may be IQ and Reddish. It may be IQ and Grimes, So just as a Knicks fan, if we're looking to really get Donovan Mitchell, and if there's a possibility that we can move Julius Randle to LA and stuff like that, these are some things that we really have to consider. I know I hear a lot of Knicks fans. I watched a couple of other podcasters out there and stuff like that, and I'll say this, and I say this: Julius Randle is a great player. He is a 20, 10, and 5 guy, but in the same token, with that 20, 10, and 5, Julius Randle has brung us to the promised land. He got us there as the almighty 4th seed. Salute to State on that, to the almighty 4th seed, but he couldn't get us over the hump. He got into the playoffs, and he was lackluster. The real person that really helped us out that year was D Rose. Mm-hmm. So I like Julius Randle. I think if we can move some of the players that we got on the team right now, if we can come to a compromise for Donovan Mitchell, and we move forward with this team, I think Jalen Brunson will make Julius Randle look like a different player this year. With that being said, I also think that with Julius not on this team and Obi Toppin is in that position, I think he'll make Obi Toppin look like a better player. I'm being optimistic. I think if you put Jalen Brunson with Obi Toppin as your power forward, I believe Obi Toppin could get 14 to 18 points a night easily. And I'm being 14 on the low end because I don't want the hate. But I think he could easily come in and score 16 to 18 points a night, giving 28 to 32 minutes a night. I believe he could do that almost every night, especially with a Jalen Brunson. And if we get Donovan Mitchell, it's even more so, I believe so, because the two guys that we talk about that we want to keep don't necessarily need to lead the ball in their hands to slow down the pace, and that's Obi Toppin and Grimes. So let's see what we can do, man. There's a lot of things out there, a lot of speculation out there. It's like about 4 or 5 different type of trades for a 3-way trade team and stuff like that. Some of them are crazy, but some of them is like, no, that's not a bad idea, So let's see what happens.
Hey, let's look at it from the Knicks' perspective. As per reports, the Knicks are very high on Obi Toppin. See, right. This is what we all got to battle with when we talk about all these trades. What do the Knicks want? What do the Knicks want? We can kind of go at it about all these trades, but per reports out there, the Knicks are high on Obi Toppin. The reason why that we got to understand something too. The reason why this deal ain't done yet is because the Knicks is not willing to give up certain young players. The New York Knicks organization feel these young guys is a part of their core. They don't want to give it up. Here's why. For one, they said it's going to affect them having a chance to contend, at least from the Knicks' perspective. Number two, look at the contracts: $2 million, they're going to need contracts like that to take on these big salaries. Because if you take on these big salaries and you don't have the little rookie contract, how are you going to manage your pay? How are you going to manage the payroll? You'll be way over the luxury tax. The reason why the Knicks don't want to give up Quentin Grimes, because for free, why would you give up somebody that talented for $2 million? Why would you give up somebody like Emmanuel Quickly that talented for $2 million a year? It's business. And why would you give up Obi Toppin, somebody that talented, for $5 million? You have to look at it from not only the player perspective, from the salary cap issues. The what makes more sense to say, damn, you know what? Obi Toppin getting 17 and Quickly getting 13 is the same amount of points that Donovan Mitchell getting. I'm just talking about point wise. It's still 30 points a game, but that 30 points a game costing you $8 million. His 30 points a game costing you $30 million. You understand what I'm saying? So you kind of got to take. I think the Knicks have to take all that into consideration. That's why they haven't let Danny Ainge say, "Listen, dude, we want Donovan Mitchell, but we ain't gonna be stupid about it because literally, them cats is talented for the amount of money. Quentin Grimes about to break out making $2 million. You know, and that so that's why they talk about the Fourniers and the Cam Reddishes of the world, because that's 18 million. That's another 5 million possible that got to get extended next year and the year after that to a good contract. So him and Fournier, that's over what, 23 million. So that's why the Knicks might aiming that way, you know, because they're like, listen, I'd rather give up 23 million that way than give up Obi Toppin, Grimes, and Emmanuel Quickly. And that's only 10 million. That's only $12 million because they on their rookie scales. So that's where the dilemma with, to me, is why I think the New York Knicks should go that LA route only if they're going to move Julius Randle. Only if you're going to move Julius Randle, or you're going to move Fournier and Derrick Rose that to help match Westbrook going all the way over, whatever you got to do. I don't know. I haven't put all the numbers together yet, but I think the Knicks would be more looking forward to get rid of the players like that than giving up Grimes, Obi, and Quickly when they on rookie scale. They're not even making over $5 million. You know, so I'm hoping that the front office just lay low, because if you don't use the Westbrook deal, you're going to wind up losing whether Obi Toppin, Grimes, Fournier, this person. You're going to wind up losing all them young players on them low salaries and picks. When you just can say, you know, and the Utah Jazz, if they take Westbrook and on picks only, you might have to throw in a couple of players to make all this stuff work. I get it, but still, it might be Fournier, it might be Cam. I would like, listen, man. So that's where you got to really look at it. That they got the picks. The Knicks trying to do the picks. They're not trying to do that young talent they got. I think they like them. I think they like Obi Toppin, as been reported. They know what Quentin Grimes going to be. And you look at what Emmanuel Quickly doing this offseason. Them cats, they're going to make this team good. You know what I mean? So I don't know if they would really go that route. We'll see. But I really like, no matter what way they go, I like the position they in. They got a chance to do something special if they can get Donovan Mitchell. And if they don't get Donovan Mitchell, we're going to have to roll with what we had, which I think is a good team, into the trading deadline. But I still think either way it goes, a win-win situation for the New York Knicks. Shot Powell, and I think that, but only if the Knicks want to move Julius Randle, then you should go that LA route. That's the way I would look at it.
Yeah, it's a lot of things out there. It's a lot of ways you can mix this thing up. You can go on to that trading app and try to put in some trades and see how it works and stuff like that. See how your trade comes out and see how it manifests and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a couple of good ideas out there. I think it was Julius Randle, I think it was Cam Reddish, and I think it was D Rose going to LA, to make everything work. Donovan Mitchell, we get Donovan Mitchell, we give up 4 unprotected picks. We get 2 picks from LA, and LA gets the Fournier, another play for. I mean, it's the one that I seen. I can't remember. I should have wrote it down. The one it had us where we were at 9 players, and a chance of this is another thing with Julius Randle moving. Carmelo could come in here too to back up Obi Toppin. So I mean, it's a lot of speculations out there. There's a lot of things going on, and the more we talk about it, maybe we could bring something into existence. There has some things out there with the Beasley going over there. They had some Beverly going to the Lakers, and it has some things that is some of these trades sound real crazy, but some of these trades, you can probably sit there and be like, okay, I think I could deal as a Knicks fan, seeing it, I could sit there and deal with that. I could deal with where they're trying to move the team because they still try to elevate the team. They still trying to get money for next year in 2023. And there could be some more moves. What I want them to do is hold on to a core of these guys that we got right now, build up their stock. So just in case in 2023, 2024, if we need to make some trades and stuff like that, Obi Toppin contract, just talk about Obi, not saying Obi in particular, but his contract may be $5 million. But if he comes out and makes 17, 18 points, that $5 million, his contract is really worth $15 million now, $20 million because, of the way he played, not of the package that he got paid for,
It's comparable. Yeah, his talent worth the 20
Right,
million
exactly.
on the
His
5
talent,
million.
right.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? And that's the thing, man. I think we all got to understand that the Knicks are trying to do the thing, man. Like I said, they want to bring back Derrick Rose. I mean, like this is the stuff that's out there. And some of the the prime people for the Bleacher Reports, a lot of all these people who close and locked into these things. The Knicks. That I knew that like when you got Jalen Brunson, I'm like, you should not give up Derrick Rose. Can you imagine a team who trying to play the Knicks got to contend with Derrick Rose and Jalen Brunson?
Right.
And so that's why I don't think the Knicks willing them. I think if you believe I'm telling y'all, the Knicks would really make this thing happen. They like, listen, we think we got enough talent already. You know what I mean? I think they believe that, and I think Derrick Rose behind Jalen Brunson. You can't ask for a better 1-2 punch in the NBA. A young upcoming point guard like Jalen Brunson with an experienced guy like Derrick Rose, who last year played a minimum amount of games, but he still got 12 points a game. And the year before that, he was at 14, 15. What happened last year because of the injury to the ankle, the surgery, he couldn't do nothing after that. But to have him behind the Jalen Brunson is a win-win for the Knicks. So and as a Tom Thibodeau guy, him and Jalen Brunson, when he played in Chicago, Jalen Brunson was tutored by this dude. You know what I mean? We got to understand the Knicks got a family thing going on there, and I think Derrick Rose is a big part of that. So I really think that if the Knicks don't do anything, I think they're good with that. Because I think Derrick Rose not going nowhere. I could have said, it makes sense if you didn't get Jalen Brunson, you was rebuilding. But now that you got Jalen Brunson, he's gonna be the backup point guard. He should be. He's the best point guard we had in New York last year. And I think that's important that the Knicks do that because now if you look at what the Knicks is building now, they got a good team. Like I said, shot power. So we got to see if this trade even gonna mature. It might not even mature. It might be, but the Donovan Mitchell thing. If you were the Knicks and you were going to do that, I still think you should go that route with LA, no matter what it is, because I do think LA eases the pressure of having to give up the good good young players. That's what's important. That's why Leon Rose haven't struck yet. I'm not giving up these dudes yet. You know what I mean? If you want to move Donovan Mitchell that bad, come holler at me. Let me know what's up. And that's what Leon Rose sticking to, and that's what he's doing. If they want to deal with the Knicks, then you come deal with us. Come holler at us. But then I'm not going to give you all my good young time because if we get Donovan Mitchell, you want to give them an Obi and all these guys, where that's going to put us at this year. You know what I mean? So I think everybody wins in this thing if you get that 3-team deal done. And from a business standpoint, the Knicks cannot go wrong with it. They can't go wrong with it because they're going to wind up, being able to sign RJ, whether it's Randle or not Randle, whether it's Fournier and Derrick Rose, whatever. But they're not giving up Derrick Rose right now. I think the Knicks want that. That thing is bigger than just basketball with Derrick Rose and Jalen Brunson's dad, and Tom Thibodeau in Chicago days. Way back then, Jalen Brunson going to school in Chicago, dad coaching under Tom Thibodeau. This stuff is bigger than only what's on the court. These cats got a lot of history, and that's why they brought them over here. You know what I'm saying? And so I do think that if you can, kind of get around all the other stuff, I think the Knicks will be pretty good, man. So we'll see how it goes. Salute to the chat. Salute to everybody where you're streaming them from on this beautiful Sunday. Divine, Shaw Powers, we in the building. Salute to the chat. Y'all got to pop it up in there, man. Keep the thoughts coming. But y'all dropping some good stuff up in there. Real talk. But either way it go, I'm comfortable that Shaw Powers, the Knicks gonna make this thing happen. But real quick, just to Let's look at my man, some D Rose stuff, man, from you know last year what he was doing for the Knicks, and even though in a short period of time that he because of the injury he got, he couldn't go through the rest of the season, but the brother was playing some good ball for us, man. Let's check out D Rose, a little bit of his exploits and all that good stuff from last year. And that's why I think that he's going to keep him for this reason. He's a tough competitor, man, veteran. He can get it popping for sure. We kind of missed that. Nobody we had on our team except for Quickly can get in the lane like he was last year. And we really missed that stuff, man. Good facilitators, what he does for Obi Toppin. Makes these guys better, man, all the way around. He sees the floor very well. Savvy veteran, down the middle. See, nobody was doing that on the Knicks last year, and that's why we didn't get the 41 wins. But we missed that right there, man. You don't know how much you missed that. Know where to find these cats in these spots. And it's a good thing. So hopefully, he come back behind Jalen Brunson this year, y'all. And he get it popping. He get it popping this year and help these boys out. Be much better than we were last year for sure. Nobody down there. Only Quickly was doing that last year. Only Quickly, not Kimba, not Alex Burks. See, Pete, that's what I mean. See, Mitchell Robinson didn't have nobody who was looking at him like that last year, and that's important. But Mitch post low, and nobody was giving Mitchell Robinson that ball last year like that. That's why it's important that Derrick Rose and these guys play behind Brunson because he's doing these things that none of my point guards was doing last year. Good floater by Derrick Rose on the pick and roll with Mitchell Robinson. And he got the float up there. So it's pretty decent, guy. That was on it on that one. Excuse me about that. But I think that's what we was missing last year, man. Things like that. And it's important that we, I think if we're gonna try to go for this thing, you bring that young man back, not a young man, the older young man back, and see if we can be a part of that backcourt, man. Let him back up Jalen Brunson behind Jalen Brunson, give him his rest. Derrick Rose coming in, give you 12, 13 points off the bench. His numbers was pretty phenomenal last year. Even though he was minimal because of the injury situation, but you look at his numbers last year, his numbers was decent as well. And the year before that, he had a exceptional number. The year before that, Derrick Rose he capped out last year only a minimal game because of the injury. He only played 26 games last year, 24 minutes a game off the bench, 12 points a game, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. You know what I mean? And it's important because this guy who was playing 36 minutes wasn't getting you 4 and 3 rebounds last year.
Nice.
Look what he shot from the 3-point line, 40% from 3. You know what I mean? And so he in the year before that, he shot almost 40. I think he shot 40 better when he came to the Knicks the year before that, when they went to the playoffs. So them numbers right there alone, even though it's a minimal amount of games, but what he did overall the year before that was 14 a game, basically the same amount of rebounds and assists. And so I think he's going to be a key contributor, Shy Power for the Knicks off the bench this year if they don't move him, which I don't think they will.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, it's a lot of things. Like I said, I keep saying it's just a lot of situations out there, and I would like to keep Rose. But if we keep Rose, Knicks fans, we got to take into consideration. If we do keep Rose, all right. Our 3 big trading chips are right now is Julius Randle, Evan Fournier, and Derrick Rose. If we don't move any of those guys, and we try to make a trade, we have to give up young guys, and that's the biggest thing that none of the Knicks fans that I see want to really do. But if we can facilitate maybe 2 of these 3 guys or all 3 of these guys, we open up the space for all young guys. The Thibodeau will have those couple of hairs in the front of his head. He might have to pull them out in the beginning of the year or something like that. But he will have a whole 10-man rotation of guys that's almost under 25 years old, man. And what can you say, man? That's all the Knicks fans be screaming about. Let's build with our youth and the youth and stuff like that. I want D Rose here. I can see D Rose backing up Brunson. That would be somebody in the second unit. Him, D Rose, IQ, and Grimes, or D Rose, IQ and Reddish. However you want to work those 3 guys, but if we keep Rose, we have a good second unit going out there to contend. And everything that we talk about and stuff like that it just makes, as we go on, we'll see what happens, because if we keep Julius, then it makes the second unit a little different. If we move Julius, then it makes the second unit a little different. So as these steps come on and things come on, we'll see how the team is going to really formulate and see what happens, man. I'm optimistic about whatever they do, man. They've been making some smart moves these last couple of years, and however they make the moves to make the team better, I'm good. I want the team to be good this year.
Yeah. For me, it's all. It's here. I try to go over all the variables with the stuff because it's not only about the player, it's about the money, it's
Right.
about everything. The Knicks the reason why the Knicks gonna hold on to Derrick Rose, and here's the reason why. First of all, he got a $14 million expiring contract.
Facts.
Number one, you got a $14 million expiring. Who do you think is better that would be more productive for the Knicks if you had to move one of the two? A $14 million expiring contract, you're going to keep that, or you're going to keep Evan Fournier on a $36 million 2-year contract that takes away from the two guys like Quickly and Quentin Grimes. So what would the Knicks do? First of all, Derrick Rose got a way better rapport with the Knicks than Evan Fournier do. Derrick Rose been around the Knicks in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Been a part of this organization for a minute. But forget about all that the stuff. What would the Knicks do from a financial perspective? What could Derrick Rose do for the Knicks in the playoffs? If Jalen Brunson go down, you got a Derrick Rose. If Evan Fournier go down, it's not a big deal because you got a Quickly, you got a Grimes, you got a Cam Reddish, you got a RJ. But if Brunson go down, you got a Derrick Rose. In the playoffs with veteran experience, who know how to play the game of basketball. Was that the dilemma when we went to the playoffs a couple of years ago? What happened in the playoffs against the Atlanta Hawks? No experience. Only people popped in that playoff was Derrick Rose, Todd Gibson, and a little bit of Obi Toppin. So from a team perspective, it makes sense. I just think that we gonna understand. And even with Derrick Rose's expiring contract, Shot Powers, let's say we get to the trading deadline.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And that contract becomes so relevant because now Derrick Rose can get sent in the package for whoever or whatever the case may be. So I do think we got to take everything into totality. I think we need Derrick Rose more than people think we do because if you move Fournier, that means to me, IQ and Quentin Grimes gets their minutes. If you move Fournier, IQ and Quentin Grimes to play the 2-guard spot in New York, one off the bench and one start. Where you pick your poison, y'all can debate about that. But at least if you move him, you got them two guys guaranteed to get their minutes. If you move Derrick Rose, you're gonna have to swat Quickly over there, and then you're gonna have Quentin Grimes and Evan Fournier. But here's the thing: that's $36 million you got. You know what I mean? So I think it's gonna be interesting, man. To really see how this thing go, man. In New York, but it's a lot of ways to do this thing, and I'm good either way it go. Because like we don't make the decision, they make the decisions. I'm just here just using my analogy from the best of my ability. I have no idea what the Knicks gonna do. I ain't locked into those sources. I ain't got none of that. I'm just a podcaster who just trying to use his intellect to say this is what possibly the Knicks can do. When I put out scenarios, everybody, I'm trying to think about what the Knicks would do, not what I do. You know what I mean? What will the New York Knicks do? Because it's really all about them. You know what I mean? But I do believe from the stuff that we hear out there, Obi Toppin, they don't want to move him. They want to keep Derrick Rose because of the connections, the history, the contract, and his skill. So I do think that's the case where the Knicks that would want to do it. But who knows? We never know. Somebody might change in another day or two. Top how as of right now, that's the way it is. But it could change tomorrow. You know what I mean? They could say, this is us. We're gonna do this game. We are gonna move Derrick Rose. But for right now, the reports out there that I hear that they're not trying to move him. So let's see how it goes in New York. But I think no matter which way they go, they're in a good situation. They can make some things happen for sure.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a whole lot of things that could be put out there and how they could move forward with the team. So just be optimistic, Knicks fans, because it's a possibility that we may lose a player that we all like. It might be someone that that is like I hate to say this name, IQ. I hate to say this name, Grimes. Hate to say this name, Cam Reddish. These are some of the guys that, for as being a younger part of the team, may get moved and stuff like that. So, it all depends what they move out and what they bring back in will make the difference to me. Yes, it's going to be rough. Yes, it's going to be a little tough to see some of these guys go. Because in the beginning, I thought, if they was doing a straight up trade, and I thought about this a little while, but the trade that I had put out there was six first round picks. I mean six draft picks with Evan Fournier, Grimes and Deuce. I mean Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, and Deuce McBride. But as I'm sitting back thinking about it, does Utah really want Deuce McBride? You know, do they really want Deuce McBride? Wouldn't they rather have IQ? You know, is would IQ be something to hold up the Donovan Mitchell trade? You know, it's just so many things that, you know, as if you think not as a Knicks fan, as Danny Ainge, because this is what Danny Ainge wants. I'm pretty sure he's going to want somebody that can, you know, at least help the team that he has there, you know, to try to win a little bit, but not win 40 games. You know, try to make the playoffs or fall just short of the playoffs or something like that. Who knows what happened? I know the better his first round pick for next year 23 draft is better if they lose games, and he's not going to want someone that's going to, you know, people talk about sending Obi Toppin and IQ to Utah. If you send Obi Toppin and IQ with the crew that they got over there, they're going to win about 42 games. They're going to be in the play-in or something like that. They're going to be a good team. You give IQ 30 minutes a night, you give Obi Toppin 30 minutes a night, that's about 40 points a night from those two players. So, I mean, you know, I don't know if he really wants those two guys, man. He may like to say that he might want them, but if you put IQ, you give IQ, all right, maybe I'm being a little biased because I'm a Knicks fan. I'm a little homer sometimes, but I believe if you give IQ 32 minutes a night, you give Obi Toppin 32 minutes a night, I think Obi Toppin will get 18 points a night. I think IQ will get 18 points a night as well, you know, close to 20 points a night. I don't know if Danny Ainge really want both of those guys on there, because if from the way they're saying they want to tank, they don't want those guys that's going to go over there and play well and get with these other young guys and make that team better. He wants a team that's going to just make it look good. You know, he wants a 35 and under wins a 35 and under team next year, I believe.
Here, I'm gonna hit y'all with some real thoughts, and I think this is why Danny ain't looking at this 3-3 deal. You know, the team got to have a certain amount of players to reach a certain amount of. You got to spend a certain amount of money.
Yep.
You got to spend a certain amount of money to reach the cap level in the NBA. You can't just have play if you don't reach that threshold or whatever. 70 now the cap is 120 million. You got to spend a certain amount of money, so they could take on Russell Westbrook's 47 million. Get rid of Patrick Beverly, get rid of Beasley because they got longer contracts. Send them over to LA, whatever. They could take Russell Westbrook's $47 million now, and they don't even play Westbrook if they didn't want to. They could just say, man, you know what? Listen, we wanted your contract numbers. We don't give a if you don't play with, you do whatever. But now what that does for them is, okay, you know what? Danny Ainge, now he can fiddle with some kind of crazy contract that'll make the salary cap work, but it don't make that team good. It don't make them. They're not gonna be winning games. So he's going to say, I got a $47 million contract that's coming off the books compared to Patrick Beverly, who just signed a $13 million deal with Minnesota. They extended him. You got Beasley still got money on his deal, and whoever else they brought over there. You still got Conley. You still got Jordan Clarkson. So right now, as they still got Bogdanovich. You know, I think he might be a free agent. But what Russell Westbrook does allow them to move a Conley, allow them to move let's say a Beasley or anybody, and he take that $47 million. He know it's coming off the books the next year, so he's not worried about it. So that's why I think he would do that deal. Say, I got 7-8 draft picks, and I got Russell Westbrook. I'm the happiest dude in the business because that's what I'm trying to do. Danny Ainge is trying to tank, and that's what y'all want to call it, tank. He trying to get the lowest amount of wins he can get, so he can go out there and get that pick. That's what I think. Now it could be different. If he's gonna replicate what he did in Boston. Then if he replicate what he did in Boston, then if he's gonna do that in Utah, then he trying like, listen, I just want draft picks and I want a contract that's coming off the books. So when it's time for me to do what I did in Boston, I got money freed up. But right now I want to go through the draft and get these guys and let them grow like Jason Tatum and all the guys did. So that could possibly be what he's doing, but we'll see. I don't know. That's just my thought. That was possible that could happen. looking at it from that perspective, I think that's probably he can look at it that way, and knowing that he's gonna try to move these guys. Danny ain't gonna. He didn't move Rudy Gobert for nothing. I mean, and get all them picks. I don't think he's trying to do that. Because that's the case, we could have kept Rudy Gobert and just played it all out and then wait till the right time. But he got 4 unprotected picks, players that he can move. Yeah, so I think that's what he's on. And if it comes to the point where the Knicks are going to be involved, that's why I like the 3-team trade, because I don't think we lose Obi Toppin them. But we'll see, man. We keep our ears to the ground, our eyes open, and see what the Knicks are going to do. Like I said, it's a win-win no matter what for these guys. But I do think Derrick Rose might be in the fold for a minute. I think that $13 million, that $14 million that he got expiring, that you want the Knicks to keep that, because when he get rid of it, you got somebody. If him and Fournier still with like $32 million between them, then you might just keep them. Say, okay, no, at the trading deadline, I can go for Derrick Rose and Devin Fournier on expiring deals, possibly whatever, or Fournier with a year left. Somebody might be willing to give you a $30 million player because that contract equals $30 million. So they might keep both of them. That's why I think the Knicks saying the Derrick Rose situation, you don't give Derrick Rose away just to, for nothing. I mean, I'd rather keep that $14 million and let it come in the next year. Help that, because you keep Fournier, even if you keep Fournier and Derrick Rose this year, that go RJ Barrett's extension right there, both of them. Derrick Rose and Fournier is RJ Barrett's extension. So the Knicks might be like, you know what? Whatever. They're in a good place, Shop House. And I just think they just got some good moves they can make, and we'll see how it goes, man. But I know it's a lot to it. But we thinking out from the outside looking in. But either way go, I think we good no matter what they do. But if it's going to take that to get Donovan Mitchell, they got a way they can go, and I like that LA route. I really do.
Yeah, I'm leaning more so now that I've been checking it out. I've seen a couple of things. There's some, like I said, there's some iffy ones out there. If you read that one Frank Matos got out there,
I like that one.
Cam, Conley, Washington, first time, so that's split IQ. Yeah, I mean that's nice. You know what I mean? That's not a bad one right there either. You know what I mean? It's a couple out there that I wouldn't be too much not with that one. That's good, because now they take LA gets. That's how it makes the picks like kind of coincide. If we give Conley and help LA, and then mix it up and give Westbrook here, and and the money all matches and everybody's a little happier. This one get the aspiring contract, or they got signed. But the only thing about Westbrook contract, that $40-something million. If you buy him out, you're gonna have to buy him out for about $40 million. I think what he's on 47 million.
Buy him out, let him sit there at the end of the year.
Yeah, that too. You know what I mean? That he can sit on the bench. You know what I mean? That sounds good too.
Hey, listen, or flip him with some more picks and some extended contract. See, that's another thing. The Utah Jazz to turn around and flip Russell Westbrook for draft picks and some expiring contract. You understand what I'm saying? So that he could turn Russell. He could turn this whole thing right here into about 12 picks. Because now if you give Russell Westbrook $47 million, you could trade Russell Westbrook at the deadline for probably 4 more first rounders or 2 more first rounders to a contender. Now you got 11 picks. Oh, I mean, it's a win-win for Danny Ainge. You know what I mean? Because he can wind up coming out of this thing with Danny 12 picks. You know what I mean? It ain't no skin off his back. He rebuilding. And Russell Westbrook, is nobody in the league won't take Russell Westbrook if they feel like he gonna get them over the top. You know what I mean? If you even, despite Russell Westbrook's numbers, even if you look at his numbers from last year, Shop House, he wasn't abysmal. He did what?
Was it like 12,
yeah,
9?
18. Listen,
18. Wow.
18, that's what I was trying to tell people. Look at his numbers. Who on the Knicks had them numbers last year? Except for RJ and Randle. 18 points a game, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Look what he did. He shot 44 from the floor. There wasn't a Knicks player that shot that much except for Obi Toppin and Mitchell Robinson. And Mitchell Robinson shot 44 from the floor. Obviously, we know he don't shoot 3-point, but that ain't his game. He shot bad from the free throw line. But the cat gave you 18, 7 and 7, 1 steal. And for me, that's on a down year. You know what I mean? So I think this, you could work with this cat for as putting him in a trade, because I think he's that talented. And I think any contender take them numbers. You know what I mean? And that could be That could be because the team that he was on. The Lakers, when you lost Anthony Davis, Kendrick Nunn, you lost a lot of cats on that team last year, man. And though he had a down season, he still shot 44% because he's not a jump shooter. Like people like him and RJ them until they get better and Ben Simmons and all these guys, that's not what they do. You could call him Russell Westbrook. I think you got it right because he's not a jump shooter. But the man still put up 18, 7, and 7. So, the man's a Hall of Famer because without a jump shot. I don't know what to say about all that. You know what I mean?
And to say out loud, that was kind of a down year for him because 2 or 3 years ago he was a triple double machine.
Mhm.
I mean, he was triple double almost every game and stuff like that. So that was actually a down year for him, and that's a good down year. I mean, it's a down year for another player. I mean, for Westbrook, yeah, that's a down year, but 18.7 rebounds and 7 assists. Come on, man. That's a good year for somebody, man. Could you imagine that being Obi Toppin? 18.7 rebounds and 7 assists?
Ain't like he coming to the Knicks, but like even he was, God, $47 million. Now look at the business side of it. $47 million expiring contract. I don't give you like Westbrook or not. I bet you ain't a team in the NBA who got some long contracts won't be willing to take Russell Westbrook for 1 year and get rid of all them long contracts they got. Because that's a good business move. And he's talented. I mean, he had a bad year last year, but look what he did when he came to Washington to help Bradley Beal then and got to the playoffs. I mean, the Cavs can ball. I mean, though his circumstance might have been kind of screwed up because of when he got traded from Houston to this to that, but you can't take away the man's talent though. You can't deny that. His numbers don't lie. The man going to the first ballot, brother. You know what I mean? So I think Utah would do that, and I think a team like Dallas, say Dallas get to they a step away from the Western Conference Finals, and they got Tim Hardaway contract. They got a couple of other players contract who can eat that salary for 1 year and get Westbrook Brooks there with Luka Doncic because he just never know. The Clippers can do it. People, man, don't sleep on Russell Westbrook. You might not like him, but you can't take away his skills though. You can't take away what you can do with basketball. So I think the Knicks would do that. But here's the dilemma for me, guys, ladies and gents. Salute to the chat and everybody. Cam Reddish. That's a dilemma. That's one of the major things to me. I don't know what's a dilemma. What do we do with Cam Reddish? Because a lot of the fan base like Cam Reddish, Shop Powers. They think the young man is talented. But as we know, a couple of times he done been in trade talks, at the trading deadline last year. Lakers they like Cam Reddish. They talking about him in this trade this year. What did you guys gut feeling out there as far as Cam Reddish? Do you think this guy gonna be on the Knicks moving forward? What's your gut feeling? Do you think he's going to be a part of this, or you think they're going to get him, move him up out of here?
I mean, if Cam Reddish is been in every trade rumor that you can mention right now, I would love to see what Cam Reddish could do as a New York Knicks coming off the bench. But how do you feel being Cam Reddish and coming off the bench for RJ Barrett? So, that's something to throw out there just to make, to do the yin to a yang or something like that. Cam Reddish wants to come out here, he wants to ball out, but it all depends on if we get Donovan Mitchell. Because if we don't get Donovan Mitchell, could you imagine a lineup of Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, and Cam Reddish out there as your starting lineup with Obi Toppin? I mean, with Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That could be one of your starting lineups. So the dilemma right now is like everybody, everything is out in the air, and everybody's, we all as Knicks fan want to see some of the same things put together, but in just different ways of putting it together. We want Donovan Mitchell, but some people wants to give up Cam Reddish. Some people want to give up Grimes. Some people want to give up, such and such and so on and so on. I like Cam Reddish. I think Cam Reddish, if we don't get Donovan Mitchell, I think, and we can move on from Evan Fournier, I believe Cam Reddish could be Brunson, RJ, Cam Reddish. That's a strong starting front court right there. 4 real big guys to hold on to Brunson to help him out with the defense. RJ and Brunson at the top. Randle and Reddish at the wings, and Mitchell Robinson backing all of them up. That's a strong starting five right there. And the bench is not going to be too shabby either. Coming with D Rose, Grimes, IQ, Obi Toppin, and Hartenstein. That's not a shabby second unit, backup unit to the front unit.
I
So
want to see that. I want to see Cam get a shot, man. That's why I said,
yeah, man, I want to see him, man.
you
I
know,
think, and this is the year for him to blow up this year, man. Contract year. If he could do some things like that, maybe he could get a little 15, $20 million contract, stuff like that. 2 years, 1 year guarantees. You know how you know how Leon Rose do. He gives you 1 or 2 years, and that third year is an option. So see what happens, man.
you know what? Like I said, we don't. The Knicks is not the one that. I'm not saying trade for Westbrook. No, use the trade to get Westbrook to Utah. That's where I'm at with it. I don't want Westbrook here, but I think I would love for Cam Reddish to be able to come out here this year, man. He was just starting to get into his groove. The guy got hurt. And he noticed, and you know what was amazing to me? It's not that Tibb did not like no Cam Reddish. You don't
They had no room.
you don't come from a team and just get thrust into everything. You know, Tom Thibodeau don't know nothing about Cam Reddish. So when Cam Reddish first got to New York, you can't just throw him out there and take somebody's spot. You know what I mean? He got to learn the plays.
Yeah.
He got to learn the system. He got to learn. You know, there's other guy out there. So I think they did the right thing. They brought him along slowly but surely. Unfortunately, the man got hurt, but he was just starting to get more minutes because he was starting to get familiar with the system. You know what I mean? You know, and I think he was starting to get there and understand what Tom Thibodeau wanted, the way they want to play, and how they played. But unfortunately, man, about 4 or 5 games later, he fell out. He hurt his shoulder. But I would love to see him here, man. He's a talented young man. But I think we all got to take into consideration while we always talk about this stuff is the contract. It's the contract. You're going to extend R.J. Barrett, Cam Reddish. You're going to have to extend Obi Toppin because he got to qualify off about $10 million after this. Or some of that nature. So that's where all this stuff coming in. It might not be because they don't like a guy. They might can't afford him. The Knicks might lose Cam Reddish to somebody else. You know what I mean? So the Knicks might say, Cam Reddish, only thing we can give you right now, because we got to give RJ Barrett the decision. Only thing we can afford to give you is 10 to 15 million or 10 million, hypothetically. And somebody might say, Cam Reddish, we're going to give you 18 million a year for 4 years or 3 years. So it ain't about the Knicks might not want him. They might not can't afford to sign him. Jalen Brunson got 4 years. RJ going to get 5 years. Randle got 4 years. Rich Robinson got 4 years. So you got 4 dudes in your starting lineup already got 4 years on their contract. And they all making 20 million or 30. 20, except for Mitchell Robinson, 15. They all making $20 million. So that's why they can't keep Cam Reddish. Not because they don't want him from the talent perspective. I think that's why Detroit, that's why I think they did what, see, think about what Atlanta did with him. You know why Atlanta traded him? They didn't want to pay him. So, you know, so they didn't want to pay him. So they took Kevin Knox and a first round pick, kept Kevin Knox for a year on an expiring deal, got rid of it. Now they got rid of having to pay Cam Reddish, and they turned Kevin Knox deal into a first round pick. So so from that perspective, the Knicks might not say I just can't afford to keep him. That's why they might was going to put him in that trade. It might be they ain't got the money to keep him. You know what I mean? And but it's going to be interesting to see unless he go out there. See, now y'all see why I be talking about the Evan Fournier thing. Or I might be talking about the Derrick Rose thing to a degree. If you move one of them players, now you can keep Cam Reddish.
Facts.
You see what I mean? If you move Evan Fournier, you could give R.J. Barrett can get his money regardless because he can go over the cap. So you can give Cam Reddish Evan Fournier's money. But you're not going to be able to keep these dudes with the salary cap the way it's constructed in the Knicks right now. It's not going to happen. So that's why they got to make a deal. They got to make a willing deal. Now if you bring that they got to do it. But if not, I think Cam Reddish going to be out the door. Not because of his talent. They can't pay him from the business side. That's all. Basically, for me, Shop Powell. That's what it boiled down to with that.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see Cam here. I want to see him be exciting in the guard. I want to see him to get some minutes and stuff like that. If we don't get Donovan Mitchell, I hope we can move on from Fournier. I think a strong starting unit would be Brunson, RJ, Cam Reddish, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. I think that would be a strong starting unit. And this is the year for Cam to try to excel and make his money. Now, like you said, Divine, that money that he's looking to get, maybe the Knicks may want to try to get off of him because maybe they might not want to offer him that $14 to $20 million or something like that, you know. So see what happens.
Yeah. Just to answer Joey, to answer your question right quick. It's a big year for Tibbs, Joey. It really is. This big year for Tibbs. You know, he got players now. He got players. He had players, but he got a point guard that he need. He got enough flexibility with RJ, Cam Reddish, all these guys. Tibbs, this is a big year for Tibbs as a coach. I really believe that. You know, he could make this team do what they did in 2020, 21, you know, what the case may be, get these guys to the playoffs, 40 wins. He got a chance to do that this year. So it's gonna be a really interesting year, Joey. That's a good question, man. I think if you don't show improvement, it might be a different story in New York next year. Who knows? But you know, and he does coach for 3 years. This will be his third year. He's the longest one we had going for the last 8, 9 years. So longest tenure coach we had in a while. So but he did a good job, man. You take away last year, the injuries and everything. Tim's hasn't been a bad coach in the year. You might have been upset last year because you didn't like the way he did things, but you know, ain't nobody did what Tim did since 2012-13 season. So, you know, I mean, he's a hell of a good NBA coach. The man is a 2-time coach of the year. He took teams where he had to go. Granted, with teams that were there better than him, that he couldn't get his boys over the hump, and it happens. But you know, he's a damn good coach. He's a lifer. So we'll see, man. But it's gonna be interesting in New York, man. They got a lot of ways they can maneuver this thing. But the Cam Reddish thing is the one that's interesting to me. I think they got to move somebody to keep this. Make one move, and to get these guys like Cam Reddish an opportunity to play. If not, then I don't see it happening. I don't see how they're too deep. I mean, if you go into the season next year like the way we are now, Shot Powers, somebody's gonna be upset. Trust me when I'm telling you. Whether Derrick Rose or Cam Reddish or Quentin Grimes, somebody not gonna play him because they got too many players. And I just think it's gonna be if you go to starting five what it is now between Brunson, you know Brunson starting. Whether if you say Fournier starting, then you got RJ, Randle, and Mitch. And then you go to the back, you're going to have either IQ or Rose is going to play at the point, or then you're going to have Grimes by backing up Fournier. Then Cam Reddish. So it's going to be interesting, man. Some people ain't going to play next year.
That's one of the major reasons the way you said that, Devon. And I hate to say this because I've been looking. If we keep D Rose, man, and the Knicks don't want to come off of Grimes, you know, and we get Donovan Mitchell, you know, where's there going to be room for IQ? You know, that's another thing that we have to really think about, man. If D Rose is here, and then they talking how highly they're talking about Grimes, so now you're looking at D Rose, Grimes. If we got Cam Reddish, you know, Obi Toppin, Hardenstein, where's the minutes for IQ? Is IQ going to take minutes from Grimes? Is IQ going to take minutes from Cam Reddish? Is D Rose going to play that backup role and let IQ come in for Brunson? These are things that we got to think about and stuff like that. And being a Knicks fan, man, you have to, you know, I mean, maybe it's just me, man. There's some odd guys that are in the lineups. And IQ, I hate to say it like this, man, but IQ is one of those guys, just like Evan Fournier is one of those guys. And I mean, and D Rose. So do we keep D Rose or do we keep IQ? You know, do we keep D Rose or do we keep IQ? We need to move on for Fournier no matter what we do. If we get Donovan Mitchell or not, Fournier is a clog right now. He clogs up minutes for Grimes and for Reddish. You know what I mean? So it's just so much things to, you know, just to throw out there because there's not enough minutes for everybody to play. If we decide to get Donovan Mitchell, now we got Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, RJ, hypothetically we still keep Randle and we got Mitchell Robinson. Now our second unit is who's going to start? Who's going to come off the bench? D Rose. We still got Grimes. We're going to have Grimes. We got Reddish. You know, it all depends on who we have because if we got those three guys there, where's the minutes going to come for IQ? IQ could go, and I hate to say this out loud, man. So Knicks fans, please don't eat me up if you're an IQ fan because I love IQ. I've been seeing him in the Pro-Am games, how he's wetting it up, 45 points and all this other stuff. But IQ goes to Utah and gets 35 minutes. He's gonna be the most improved player for next year. All right, so let's let that sit in too.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. Like I said, I don't think they done. If the team stand packed, I still think they're gonna be pretty decent. I'm not saying contenders, but they're gonna be decent. They won 37. I think this team with the acquisition of Jalen Brunson, Pakistan make the Knicks better than they were last year without having Kemba Walker, without having D Rose, and without having Nerve the Well. I think Harkenstein and Jalen Brunson is gonna give us more production than them three dudes did last year. You know what I mean? So I do believe that. You know what I mean? So I do think that. Salute my man, salute, man. Likewise, brother. I'm glad you came in the building to represent, man. Appreciate you, 1980. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. It's a good. How would I say? It's a bad problem, not a good problem. Pardon me. It's a good problem, but they got to get it rectified one way or the other because I just know that we want Obi to get 25, close to 20, 25 minutes this year. You know what I mean? So with this team, where's Obi going to get the 20, 25 minutes from?
Right.
If certain guys still on the roster. And I think the main one to me, I think the odd man out to me would be Fournier. I'm sorry. I'm not. I just think that he, because of Grimes and quickly at that position, not because of who Fournier is.
Right.
You got Grimes and quickly RJ can go to the two. So you got three guys right there who decent enough to play the two in New York between Grimes, quickly, and RJ Barrett. That's the only reason I always bring up the Fournier thing because every other position. It's like you don't want to get rid of, to me, one of our point guards because we need them. God forbid somebody. And that we didn't even talk about Grimes. I'm not making McBride. We haven't even talked about Sims. These cats not even going to be in the rotation. And these cats had good summer leagues. They had good. So it's tough. It's tough right now, and these got a lot of decisions to make, man. And and we're gonna see what they do with this thing, man. Because I just think they're gonna be pretty deep. And there's gonna be a lot of disappointed people if you don't move somebody.
Yeah, because like you just said, Devon, and I was just talking about IQ. I didn't even splurge into Sims or Deuce McBride. These guys are break glass if needed right now. You know what I mean? Those guys are going to be the third unit. You know what I mean? Part of the third unit. I think that is the third unit. Plus, we still missing about two more guys on that roster. I mean, on that third unit. So we talk. I just mentioned how if we get Donovan Mitchell, who's going to where there's going to be a pinch at? There's going to be a pinch at between IQ and Grimes. Now we don't want to give up Grimes in the deal for Mitchell, but what we're going to do with IQ, and so as you look around, if we keep Evan Fournier, how are we going to get minutes for Grimes? If we don't get Donovan Mitchell, how are we going to get minutes for Grimes or for Fournier? I mean, for Cam Reddish, you know what I mean? So in different parts of how we restructure this thing is different pieces, is different players that clog the position, that position right there. So it all depends on how they make the move. If we don't get Donovan Mitchell, it may be a little easy to move on from Fournier and make the team, keep the team as it is. We still have to get some veterans and stuff like that. But if we get Donovan Mitchell, we gotta let go a couple of guys, man. We gotta let go maybe three guys, in order for everybody to get a sufficient amount of time. This 3-team deal would be perfect because we would move off of almost 4 players. If hypothetically it may be 3 players going it may be 3 players going to LA and 2 or 3 players going to Utah. So that's 5 players. Right now we have 12. We have 12 or 13 players on the roster right now. We give up 5 players to get back 1 player. You know what I mean? Now we're at 7. We're at 8, 9 players now. 8, 9 players. So we got it's going to be a lot of work that we got to have to put in to make sure that we can fulfill the rosters. You know what I mean? If we make these deals. So if we make some moves with LA, I hope that we can pull 1 or 2 players from Utah too. That's so crazy right now that so many ways that you can construct this team, but it depends on who you put in what position. it's just so cuckoo right now, man.
I think the best if the Knicks would do the Donovan Mitchell thing. Here's the probably the easiest one they could do. I'm not, but because if Danny Ainge truly want the picks, let's say he truly want the picks, then you go Evan Fournier, um, Evan Fournier. What I would say?
Cam Reddish,
Cam Reddish, and Deuce McBride, and you give them his picks.
Right.
That would be the. I would be the ultimate thing. Now you still keep Quentin Grimes, Obi Toppin, and you keep Manuel Quickly. You get Donovan Mitchell, and you still all them cats get to play because you got one play out for three. You brought one play in and three out, one in and three out. So now that means you ain't gonna have no logjam pretty much anywhere because now you're gonna have Donovan Mitchell starting at the 2, and you can put Quickly behind him, or Grimes, whatever the case may be, or if Derrick Rose and they go to the 1, he quickly back up. What's my man named Brunson? So I think the Knicks can do it if they can pull that out without having to give up, too many of their young assets. Because like I said, them $2 million and $5 million contracts, they're important, man. That keeps their salary together because you ain't gonna be able to sign them. Now, if you bring Donovan Mitchell in, Donovan Mitchell $30 million, RJ close to $30 million, Julius Randle close to $25 million, Mitchell Robinson $15 million, Jalen Brunson $20 million, 20-something million. You got a $129 million starting lineup. So that's why you can't get rid of the OBs and them because they only make $2 million. So you got to stay under the salary cap.
Facts.
That's the reason why if you can move the Cam Reddish only because he got a deal coming up where he's going to get read up on Fournier and McBride, then you just give them the 4 or 5 picks or whatever, 6 picks. I don't know. I just think it's the easiest way to go if you want to maintain that roster where they can compete in the East. Yeah, I think if you can keep them 3 dudes, man. I think Quentin Grimes will be locking down a lot of cats in the NBA next year, man. Him and Quickly, he just getting better at what he do, and so we'll see how it goes, man. But we got a lot of scenarios that Knicks can go through, guys, ladies and gents. Keep it over y'all. The chat got it popping, man. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Knicks Real Talk, Divine, Shaw Powers, we in the building, man. On a beautiful Sunday night. Up and down, my Mets got it popping. We can't leave that out there. Went and took Atlanta through the Hawk at them. We did the chop on Atlanta this weekend. Jacob the Bomb and Max Murder. The pictures is crazy, man. When they get in the NL East, imagine trying to go in the series. You got to go against DeGrom and Scherzer. That's gonna be crazy, man. So it was good win, good series take for the Knicks. For the Mets, man. Real talk. I'm representing hard. But yeah, man, I think the Knicks are in a good situation, Shaw Powell. No matter which way we look at it. They're in a good spot. I'm happy about that. After all the ups and downs, the peaks and valleys over the last 10, 11 years, 10 years, now we finally got it. 10 years, let's say 10 years since Mike Woodson left. We really there now, man. And we just a couple of pieces here and there, moves here and there from really, really contending in this thing, man. And I'm really hoping that these cats continue to do what they're doing in the organization. They're doing a good job so far.
Yeah, man. If you could just look back and just see how this front office has been willing and dealing these last couple of years, man. We signed some players. We got Jalen Brunson, a true point guard here. We got 11 first-round picks and 11 second-round picks. We are set up. We got a young nucleus right now of about seven to 8 guys and stuff like that. We got a good. We're trending up. And with the guys that we have, like I said. If these guys, hypothetically, if IQ have a breakout year, or if Obi Toppin has a breakout year, or if Grimes have a breakout year, these guys' contracts are well worth more than what they're getting paid this year. So by next year, 2023, 2024, may be a year that we may lose a couple of more younger guys to get some more prominent guys. There's a lot of things out there in the next couple of years coming up. 25, if I'm not mistaken, Ingram comes available, and we got a couple of the guy from Los Angeles, the Clippers. There's a couple of guys that's coming on the market in 2 more years and stuff like that. So we got to stay focused and stay forward because we need a little bit of what we have, and even if we give up 4 or 5 draft picks, you see how easy this deal is, man. We give up 5 or 6 picks, 4 picks. We get 2 more picks. We end up getting 2 more picks. The way it's projected, 2 more picks from LA So we'd be giving up 5, 6 picks and still retaining 2 more picks for 27 and 29 from LA, and we still be right around 5 to 6 picks still. Remember we was talking earlier in one of the other casts that we did about these players that we could get 1 or 2 picks from. We could give up 6 first-round picks and all that stuff because in a year or two we'll regain some of these picks. Well, if we make a trade with LA right now, we'll pick up 2 extra picks to go along with these 4 picks that we give up. If we gave up 4 of our first-round picks and still gave up LA's 2 picks to Utah, we still have 7 picks left, 6, 7 picks left, and a slew of second-round picks. So we end up one of the best things that I've seen in a long time for the New York Knicks, man. I've been watching the Knicks. I've been watching New York Knicks since my man from Fort Greene was out there doing his thing, man. And I'm just saying, I haven't seen nothing like this in a long time. And I think right now we have so many draft picks. We got so many second-round picks. And we got a nice young nucleus that guys by the end of this year, people are really gonna want. You think they want Grimes now? Let Grimes come out here this year and have 14 points and 5 assists and five or 6 rebounds. Let Obi come out here and get 18 points, 6 rebounds this year, and 3 or 4 assists and 2 blocks. Let IQ come out here this year and score. What did he score last year? 11 points. Let him come out here and score 14 points this year. 6 or 7 assists and 2 or 3 rebounds. I can't even say 2 or 3 rebounds for IQ because he was a rebound machine last year. So let him get 6 rebounds this year. These guys that we talk about now, by next year, after a good year coming up, at the end of next year, these guys are going to be worth more than what they get paid. So that's what I'm looking for. Let's build. Let's continue to move forward. And if we have to move on for some more of these young players to get some better players and 23, 24, 25, let's do that. That's the way that they should be going right now.
Yeah. Hey, real talk. I think people don't understand the Knicks will get Donovan Mitchell.
Right.
You gotta understand you gotta play checkers and chess with the. I mean, you can't just like listen. Danny Ainge can do what he do, but the Knicks can't get fleeced. You know what I mean? I don't care how much you want to play it. You can't mess up your infrastructure moving forward to just to get somebody because he's talented. Because if you do that, then you know what, and it don't work out, we all gonna be like, why we get Donovan Mitchell? The Knicks will get Donovan Mitchell. But we can't get him at the detriment of messing up our team where them cats don't have nothing left. To me personally, Obi Toppin, IQ, and Grimes, put them 3-4 numbers together. Donovan Mitchell ain't doing them boys 3 numbers together. Donovan Mitchell is not doing Obi Toppin and Quickly and Grimes numbers together. I'm just saying. So what I'm trying to say is that's why the Knicks is hesitant to give up this young talent. You got to let Danny Ainge get desperate. You know what? So right now, I don't think there's no rush. Chop House ain't nobody else bidding against us. So why rush? I don't even care if we're going to the right before the season starts. You get Donovan Mitchell. That you also got to play your cards, man. Don't let Danny Ainge fleece you. Just chill. You know what I mean? If you want to mess with the Knicks, come to us. And then if somebody come to the Knicks, if somebody come out them with a better deal, then we go ante up. So say we offer what we offer. That's what we're going to give you, Danny Ainge. Take it or leave it. Then if somebody else come behind us with something, then we just overmatch them. So it's just the way negotiations work. But if he really want to get rid of Donovan Mitchell, he'll move him. He had to come to a senses. It's called negotiations. Anything. You know what I mean? You got to play. You got to go gain no gain. You know what I mean? And that's what the Knicks is doing. What Donovan Mitchell going to do for us today? The Knicks ain't even in training camp yet, so it's probably not even a big deal. You know what I mean? They'll work it out. The Knicks will get Donovan Mitchell, I think. I think it just might be the right on the wall. But at the same time, ain't no rush. I mean, them cats enjoying their summer, on vacation, everybody chilling. I mean, so Donovan Mitchell know what it is. And if Danny ain't really want to move him, the Knicks will get him. And I just don't think it's a sense of urgency with right now. I don't think that they'll get the deal to me until it's that time.
Yeah, man. As a Knicks fan, to sit back and just watch how this thing is formulating, it's great to see, man. Because I don't believe if this was for a couple of years ago and we still had Isaiah Thomas And I think we had already made the deal. We'd have probably gave up 8 first-round picks, Obi Toppin, IQ, yada yada yada. We'd already been fleeced. You know what I mean? And I think at watching how Leon Rose moves as being an ex trade guy that from the CAA, I don't think he is going to let us get done dirty. If there's a deal and it looks like it's a pretty good deal where we're giving up just enough to get, but not too much, I think that's the way we're gonna go, man. So I'm just riding with what Leon Rose does, and I do not think that he's gonna let the New York Knicks build up all this draft, this draft, and
Right.
then have all this young core and give it all away just for one player. I don't think he'll do that. I think he'll walk away from the deal and look for another deal before the trade deadline starts. I mean, before the season starts.
Hey man, I want Donovan Mitchell New York better than anybody. I think we need him here. I think Donovan Mitchell will bring that next dude with him and RJ and could bring that next guy here. You know what I mean? I think him and Jalen Brunson, RJ and them, they could bring that next dude here. So somebody might be saying, wow, Knicks got a pretty good team. I think I can go help that team. So if you got Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, RJ Barrett, with Randle or without Randle, whatever, some player might be like, you know what? I can get the Knicks over the hump. So, and that's why I do think that you got to play hardball, man. I mean, listen, the Cat say he wanted to build it a certain way, and no matter what Cats might think about the New York Knicks organization right now, 22 draft picks, talent, and you got aspiring contracts still. You still got 30-something million in aspiring contracts. If we was any other team, y'all be like, man, y'all be praising us like Stan Presti and them over there in OKC.
Mm-hmm.
With the Knicks got going on right now, think about this here. They got talent, draft picks, flexible contracts to move 2 of them, almost 30-something million worth of salary to move if they need to move Fournier and Derrick Rose. We haven't seen nothing like this here since 1970. Since 1970. When can anybody on the show, in the chat, or wherever you at, you streaming it from, say, when was the last time the Knicks been in this type of situation? 22 draft picks in 7 years, 11 of them first round. I don't care if they protected or unprotected. When can you ever say that the Knicks been in this situation right here? If you a true Knicks fan and you study the Knicks and you see what they've been through over the last 20 years, nobody can say that the Knicks never been in a better position than this. Nobody. And I've been watching since 1978. You know what I mean?
I'm down.
1970 when I went to my first Knicks game at the Garden, and when I was 8 years old in 1972, whatever. So, and I've been watching this for years. The Knicks this is the one you got to be happy about what Leon Rose and Scott Perry and got us in. We in a situation where we can make moves wherever we want to make because we got talent. RJ Barrett is a talent. Julius Randle is a talent. Jalen Brunson is a talent. Mitchell Robinson is a talent. Obi is a talent. These guys are talented. You know what I mean? So that's why Danny Ainge won them. You know what I mean? He won them because he know they talented. So I think once we just got to be patient and let them do their job, man. That's all, And Rome wasn't built in one day. Shit, when Leon Rose got, he flipped Derrick Rose for a second-round pick, got Derrick Rose for a second, and took a second-round pick back with Derrick Rose for Dennis Smith Jr.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't even in the league. We flipped Dennis Smith Jr. and got back a second-round pick and Derrick Rose. And what happened when we got him? We went to the playoffs. So them cats doing something right in New York, man.
It's coming soon, Keith. It's coming soon, man. I think we're going to get rid of some of these picks, man. I think we might have Donovan Mitchell here, man. One way or another, if it's a one-on-one deal or this three-way deal. I would like to do the one-on-one deal, give up 3 players and 5 first-round picks, 4 unprotected, and that 25th pick that's top 4 protected, and try to get Donovan Mitchell here. But if we could swing a deal where it could be a 3-team deal, and maybe we can move off another couple of players and bring back 1 or 2 players and bring back Donovan Mitchell in the same token, and maybe either get Westbrook to either Utah, or we get him and we drop his salary so we can pay RJ and Cam Reddish next year. I'm with that too. Because that's exactly if we could move Westbrook and get Westbrook for us, we could cut that $40 million. There goes RJ contract and Cam Reddish contract right there. Depending on how we can move, who we move, or how we can keep them. Because I'm not with the 3-trade deal, but it's still out there. And if some of the 3-trade deals that I've seen, they wasn't that bad, It wasn't that bad, So I know a lot of Knicks fans don't want to feel like we making LA better. I understand that 100%. But I don't care about LA. If that was like if we were making a deal with Miami, that would make me a little upset. If we were, giving up,
Philly in our division,
you know what I mean? Or right, or somebody like even Indiana or something like that. That would make a difference to me. We giving them out to the West. We giving them out to the Lakers. Hopefully they could get better. We could get better and see them in the playoffs. I mean, hypothetically, let's throwing it out there like that.
Yeah. It's it's not about the motion for me, man. Because like I said, business is business, brother. We in the business of sports, and that's all it boils down to. Ain't nothing sitting there, man. It's about this name right here, not the one in the back of the jersey, but the name in the front of the jersey.
Right.
And front office gonna do what they got to do, and believe what I'm telling you. They know they're in a good spot, man. Leon Rose is right now. He's the president of basketball operations, but he don't do all the trade. That's Scott Perry don't do that. He just sign off on everything. But he's not the basketball aficionado in the Knicks. That's Scott Perry. He's just a president of basketball operations who makes the decisions to agree to this or to agree to that. But his basketball knowledge like that. That's Scott Perry and them cats' knowledge. That's what they do. That's why he the GM. He's just the president. Of basketball operations. But he's not the one who say this player is better than that player. Leon Rose don't know basketball like that. Scott Perry do. That's why they the GM. That's why he retained him. Him and Tibbs, Scott Perry, and probably Brock Oliver, the guy that make them type of player evaluation, what they think is good for the team. And if my man might say, okay, you know what? I agree with it. Let's sign off on it, and then they go to Dolan. And yeah, that's all. And right now, it's all good in New York City, man. Knicks will have a good season, man. Y'all just don't jump off the bandwagon. Y'all stay optimistic about it, man. Because Jalen Brunson is the real deal. I'm trying to tell y'all.
And let's not be fooled by this too about how Danny Ainge want to fleece and all that stuff. If Danny, all right, if we offer up 4 first-round unprotected picks and that 25th pick, which is protected to the 4th, the top 4 in 2025, and 3 players, you pick the players you want to pick. Don't think that the Utah Jazz front office is not going to be under Danny Ainge. Like, yo, Danny Ainge, this is 4 first-round picks. I mean, 4 unprotected first-round picks from the New York Knicks, plus another first-round pick and 3 young players. That's a good deal. Don't think that just because Danny Ainge won 6 picks and 4 Obi Toppin, and don't think if we offer up a good contract that their front office, their owner is not going to be a Danny Ainge. You're getting 4 first-round picks from the New York Knicks unprotected, plus another pick that's pretty much unprotected, and Fournier, Cam Reddish, and Deuce McBride. Deuce McBride. That's not bad. You turn that down. You may be hearing a little bit about Danny Ainge and how he's willing and dealing. Just because he got those picks for Gobert, if you could get 4 or 5 more first-round picks, that makes it easier for them in 2023 to maybe move up and get that guy that they want to get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, real tough. And reason why I'm banking on the Knicks this year, let me get him put him up there because he about to do his thing this year, and he was over there in Philadelphia at the Classic. He was doing his thing.
Oh, he was doing it.
Balling out though.
JB behind the back, skip the lane by himself. It's time for JB to wake back up. JB
freeze you in your spot.
JB mid-range. On the street. JB and I'm cross. Look at this lane. Go back for it. They lead it. JB for the time.
All I'm saying, we ain't had that last year like that. That's all I'm saying. We had no Jalen Brunson in the mix like that last year, Shaw Powell.
His stop and go game is incredible, man.
Crazy, bro.
His stop and go game, the way he frees you in your position that's incredible how he does it, man. And I was watching some things how he got a nice way of up faking you and prolonging his step by using his same pivot foot too, man. He's a great looking player, man, and I'm glad that we got him. And just to think, we got Jalen Brunson on. Remember trade night, we had no money. We had that pick that we was going to pick, and that pick turned into first round picks. We moved on. We moved from the first round picks. We got rid of 3 players to make money to get Jalen Brunson here. We signed Mitchell Robinson. We got Hardesty in here, and we gave Sims a contract. That's big. That's some big moves right there. And I mean, for me, if you ask me, I haven't really heard of any other things in any other, I guess because I don't really watch anybody else too much, but that's real big for what New York did this year, man.
Mm-hmm.
We signed Mitchell Robinson, we got Jalen Brunson, we signed Hardesty, we got we signed Sims, man. We got 11 first round picks and we got 11 second round picks, man. You don't hear that much from a lot of teams out there with the capability that we can have for the years to come. So
Yeah,
I'm happy. I'm happy with what the front office has been doing, man, and I'm happy what they did this year as well. And I know as a Knicks fan, all of us was upset at that 11th pick because we thought we was going to pick somebody like a Sohan or we had a couple of names that was out there, stuff like that. And we didn't pick nobody, but to look what they did with that 11th pick. And having 11 first round picks right now and 11 second round picks, and we signed guys and we got Jalen Brunson, and we did real good this summer, man.
Yeah, parlay that joint in 3 first rounders, regardless.
Yeah, we did real good this year, man.
That's what's crazy. Even if you trade them for they wasn't ours anyway. You know
right.
What I mean? It ain't like we ever gonna see them. But I think they did a phenomenal job this year, man. I definitely give them a B plus, A. I actually get the Knicks front off the A this year. But I think they did some good things, man. They kept the continuity there, bringing Mitchell. They kept the continuity, and that's important. They come into the season with guys they know who can get down together. They brought in a point guard to make up for the Kemba Walker, Alice Burke situation. That makes it much more better. You know what I mean? You got guys who are improving. I think Julius Randle bounced back if he's still here. I think RJ will have a good year. I mean, and even if Fournier here, hopefully he bounced back. You know what I mean? So, and I think having a healthy Mitchell Robinson and Hartenstein, opposed to not having a Noel and then Derrick Rose. Damn it, even Derrick Rose come back this year. We didn't have him after December last year. So this team is going to be pretty strong. You know what I mean? If we wouldn't have lost the guy, we probably would have been in the play-in or the playoffs maybe. But we wait and see, man. We're gonna keep our ears to the ground, our eyes open. Knicks Real Talk. We ain't going nowhere. We in the building. Divine Shop Power. Salute to the chat, man. Y'all did a phenomenal job out there. Everybody, man. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button. Run them up with the thumbs up. Y'all know we in here 24/365, man. And as the Knicks news come, we'll drop it or we'll create some content. That's why we content creators create some content for us to talk about to keep us relevant and keep you in tune to your favorite team. You know what I mean? Orange and blue. You know how we do. So, we don't keep it moving, man. But listen, we gonna get ready to get out of here pretty soon. We go another 10 minutes, whatever, man. And y'all guys, but we appreciate y'all though, man. Real talk, man. Y'all cast is the best, man. The chat is where it's at. You already know without y'all, ain't no Knicks Real Talk. You guys make it happen, man. And we appreciate all y'all intellect, your content, man. Y'all survived, ladies and gentlemen, up in there, man. Make sure y'all tell a friend. This is where it's at right here. We keep it 100 all the time. Everything's real, no hyperbole. You know what I mean? Different stroke for different folks, you know what I mean? But we try to keep it 100 up in the air. And I just bring you the best content we can possibly bring you. But, you know what I mean? That's what we do, man. We ain't always right. We damn sure ain't always wrong either. You know what I mean? We just do what we do. But salute to all y'all, man. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you coming in there, checking us out at, man. We almost at 1,000, man. Y'all keep hitting the subscribe button, man. We trying to cross that threshold to 1,000. And say that we put in the hard work, man, to get to where we at, man. But we definitely appreciate you guys, man. Real talk. That you guys always in here representing when that notification go up, y'all in here with us, man. Talking Knicks, man. We're talking to orange and blue. That's what we do. We got a lot. We all got love for it. So
stay true to the orange and blue. I thought you knew.
For real, man. Real talk. But yeah, man, it's been a beautiful summer for us so far for the Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. We still might got more stuff to do. But we still got some more wheeling and dealing to do. It don't stop. Them guys always out there working, man. That's one thing I can get Scott Perry and them guys working. Give them credit for they out there working. They just got to, they got to, cross the T's and dot your I's, and and do it the right way. And I think they're doing it, shot power. So I'm excited about what the Knicks got moving forward.
Yeah, I think I'm just optimistic. You got to stay as a Knicks fan. If you have been a Knicks fan and over the years, I've been a Knicks fan over 30 years, man. I'm telling you, Bernard King, that when I've been watching the Knicks from my uncles when I was younger, but Bernard King was one of my guys, man. And I've never I can't remember. I'm not gonna say I can't. I can't remember the way the Knicks have structured this year in any other year. And since I've been watching the New York Knicks, 11 first-round picks, 11 second-round picks.
Yeah.
We got a young nucleus of real young, gritty little young guys that's going to come out here this year and hopefully come out here and really can perform this year. And if we could snatch up all-star Donovan Mitchell, I believe we'll have 2 all-stars on the team this year, or at least 2 people going to the all-star break as as representing us. If it's not 2 all-star players playing in the game, I'm a homer. I'm just being a homer right now. But if we get Donovan Mitchell, he's definitely going to be on the all-star team. And I think Grimes can go over there and shoot some 3 balls next year with his quick shot, and maybe even can bring a crown home. And let's not forget about the dunk champion last year. He may go back in there one more year to see if he can have 2 years back to back. So we can have some striding things to make the Knicks look better this year. If we can win another dunk championship, hypothetically, Grimes goes out and wins the 3-point, wins the 3-point, the 3-point thing, the 3-point shooting. And then we got Donovan Mitchell playing in Utah, in the All-Star game. You know what I mean?
Barrett.
Come on, man. That's big. That's big, man.
Barrett.
I'm just saying. I didn't even want to throw it out there with RJ Barrett because we might have RJ Barrett. It might be fighting with RJ Barrett and Randle this year. You know what I mean? Because I believe Brunson is going to bring out some of the best in Julius Randle this year, man. And I think this team is going to want to run this year too. So I think Tibbs is going to have a different mindset of what he had last year with a lot of the veterans, quote unquote, that we let go. He got a whole team of pretty much all young guys, man. And if we move on from, even if we keep D Rose, if we move on from Evan Fournier, our average age is going to be about 25 years old, man. Yeah. About 25, 26 years old. We got 22, 23, 24, 20, 25, Julius Randle, 27. The oldest player, if we move on from Evan Fournier, would be D Rose in his 30s. You know what I mean? So the average years, we would probably be around 26 years old, man. I haven't seen that in the New York Knicks team, I don't think, in forever.
Yeah, man. It's a beautiful thing right now, man. Just from the outside looking in, and I like what they did. They like what they have done down there and what they're doing down there. I think they just going about the business of what happened. They brought in a real front office. You remember when
Facts.
They brought in business-minded people. Brock Allen masters the business of he's a capologist. Walt Perrin masters the business of scouting. You know what I mean? Scott Perry, he mastered the GM role. So they brought in guys who actually literally know their roles in the front office of that organization. They're advanced scouts, they're video technicians. You gotta give them their credit. You gotta give James Dolan credit because he said go spend the money to get what you need to make this a real good organization up at the top. And he done it. He gave them their free reins. Now look what Leon Rose, Scott Perry, they on the right path, man. And you got to kind of salute that, man. I know we as Knicks fan, we thirsting for a championship. It's been rough the last 9 years in New York City, man. But you do got to admit, they brought Tibbs and him with that Leon Rose the first year, went from 21 wins to 41 wins. That's saying something. You got to, no matter what you may think, we went from 21, we almost doubled our wins, and we were the 4th seed. you got to salute that. You know what I mean? And even last year we wasn't bad. Just the injury bug hit us last year. But we wasn't bad last year. We won 37. We won 41 the year before. We was injury rattled with that and COVID. You know what I mean? So everything went a different way. But I was happy with the results last year. I think they did a good job. I'm looking forward to this year, man. I can't be more excited to see these boys get it popping down at the Garden this year, man. I think they're gonna be a competitive team. I'm not saying they're gonna be fourth, first, second, or third. None of that. I just think that we got a competitive team in New York right now. Where they may land, we don't know. They could be the fourth, they could be the sixth, they could be the eighth, they could be the ninth. I just know that we really do finally got a good team down there and a competitive team. So I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, real talk, ill Matrix. Salute to you, my brother. Appreciate you coming in, man. Real talk. Yeah, you're right, man.
Thanks.
We got a confident front office. You could have said it better myself. They got a confident front office. Like the brother said, man. Well, sister for that matter. But I'm happy with the results, though. So we'll see how it go. So I'm looking at some interesting things. I'm looking at RJ 23, 7, and 5 this year.
Yeah.
23, 7, and 5. 23 games, 7 rebounds, 5 assists for RJ Barrett. I'm really looking for him to do his thing this year, bro.
I'm definitely with that, man. I can see that happening, man. It all depends if we get Donovan Mitchell, man. If we don't get Donovan Mitchell, I just hope that Tibbs can somehow, some way, move RJ back down to 2 and move Cam Reddish to the 3. I think that's going to have the Garden roaring. You're going to finally see a little bit of more capability from Reddish. It's a lot of things said this year. 6 points last year, 25 points from 3-point, but he didn't get into a rhythm. He didn't have enough time. Cam Reddish is a great shooter. He can shoot the ball. He was more than about league average last year before when he was with Atlanta. 36%, 330. I think it was 30. I think it was actually high, but I think he was at least 36% for 3-pointers last year. At a rate, he was at Atlanta. He was when he had some starting minutes, he was scoring 17 to 21 points a night and stuff like that. 4 or 5 assists a night. You know what I mean? The guy's a great player. So if we could keep him and everything depends on what we're gonna do with this Donovan Mitchell. You know what I mean? That could let us know as Knicks fans where we're gonna go. If we don't get Donovan Mitchell, fine, but we still need to try to move on from Evan Fournier. If Donovan Mitchell doesn't go, because Evan Fournier is good to go in the contract because we need to, if he moves, that's what we need to be moved, Evan Fournier. If we can move him, then we'll open up a couple of spaces for either Cam Reddish or for Grimes. And if we don't get Donovan Mitchell, hopefully we can still try to do something with Evan Fournier, because if we don't, then you got to look at Evan Fournier, Grimes, and Reddish. Where are those 3 guys going to fit in? And I don't think Evan Fournier is going to be a starter, but he might be a starter at the beginning of the year. But Grimes and Cam Reddish is gonna scream next year, man. One of those guys might take his spot, and then what he's gonna do? Come off the bench?
Yeah, here you go. Let me ask you a question. This was with Cam Reddish. Here's what he's gonna definitely have to show improvement on for him to even. That's why I think with the 38% for the field goal, 36%, 40, 41, or 40. His career average is 38% from the 2-point field goal area, and I think that he's gonna have to work on that area, because if you look at his game, obviously he only paid 34 the most, and so if you look at where he at, with more time, I guess more reps, he'd get that. His 3-point percentage, he shot at 37% 2021-22, pretty much with New York. Am I right? Yeah, with Atlanta, he only shot 25 with us. So last year he shot, like you said, 36% basically. And he 32% from his career. So he's gonna have to show improve, because that's why the Knicks might be saying your numbers don't speak to us. That's why I said the Knicks might be feeling that Cam Reddish numbers don't speak to him. Don't speak to the Knicks organization to give him that amount of money, and that's his numbers. Not saying that's numbers going to be that, but that's probably what they looking at. Like, okay, dude, you gotta, so it's a tough situation for him to be in, and that's why I think that you hear his name come up in these trade scenarios, because his numbers just not there yet. And so you ask the Knicks to get this guy 15, 20 million, and he's shooting 38% from the floor in his career. He's shooting 32% from the 3-point line in his career. It's tough. But that don't mean that might not be for no fault of his own. Now that could be because when he was in Atlanta, Nate McMillan had Trey Young and DeAndre Hunter and all these guys in front of him, didn't really give him a fair shake. But remember, see, here's something we all got. As much as we love Cam, listen, Atlanta traded him, and the Knicks was going to trade him. So it might not be the Knicks in Atlanta, it might be the player. You know what I mean? So we, not saying I think Cam Reddish, I think the kid is talented. That's why I'm hoping the Knicks hold on to him and give him a chance to show him proof of his contract this year. But if the Knicks do move him based on his career numbers so far, I understand. You know what I mean? But if they don't do it, I hope they don't, because I think sometimes you just got to get a guy opportunity. But like I said, he played 28 minutes a game. In the first year, he played 26 minutes a game, more than Obi Toppin. The second year, he played 28 minutes a game, more than Obi Toppin, and quickly in all them guys. And last year, the year before that, 23. Then last year, I think between the Knicks and them, it was 20 a game. So he been playing minutes, dude. You know what I mean? Rashad Powers, he been playing more minutes than Obi Toppin and all these guys. That's why it's important for him to step up there and do his thing, because you got to justify that. You know what I mean? I Obi Toppin wish he was getting 26 minutes a game in the NBA. You know what I mean? And Cam Reddish, 10 points, 11 points, 6 points, and 10 points. He averaging 10 points a game for his career. Think about Emmanuel Quickly. Emmanuel Quickly been in the league 2 years, less minutes and less time. He's scoring 11 a game. That's where the dilemma comes in at. You know what I mean? So that's why I think the Knicks got the Cam Reddish situation. That's why I put it in the Knicks Feddish on Reddish. That's why I put that in. Made that one of our main topics of the show tonight, because his numbers don't blow you out the water. His talent does. He got the talent, but his numbers ain't been put up yet, Shot Power. So we got to see how. That's why I think it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with him.
Yeah, this is true, man, and I see what Keith Turner talking about. You're right. I don't if we stay pat the way we are and we don't get a Donovan Mitchell and stuff like that, it's going to be questionable on who's going to get playing time, Grimes, Fournier, or Cam Reddish. You're right, Keith, and I 100% with you with that. And that's why we at I think 12 or 13 players right now. I think we need to get a trade done that could possibly get rid of maybe 2 to 3, 4 players or something like that, and maybe grab some people at the vet minimum or whatever little bit of money that we have left over that doesn't cut into the cap space, because we're gonna need to fill out this roster, especially if we get Donovan Mitchell. So it's some things, even without having Donovan Mitchell right now, we're still down about 2 players, and we still may need to move off of, if we don't move on from if we don't move to get Donovan Mitchell this year, we may have to look to move D Rose and or Fournier, this year too. So it's a lot of things that this roster is full, and it's a cloud at certain positions. So if we can't make a trade to relinquish some of that pressure on certain positions, like I keep saying, if we get Donovan Mitchell, now we got to figure out who we're not going to have, because if we get Donovan Mitchell, we may not have Grimes, we might not have Fournier, or we might not have Reddish. One of those, 2 of those 3 guys are probably going to be in the trade. So we're lessen our roster, but we make more spots for people to play in. But now we still have to replenish the roster because we depleted it by making the trade, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, just L Matrix, you dead on with that, man. That brother got to show improvement training camp. If Cam Reddish gonna be here, L Matrix hit it right on the head. He got to distinguish himself and play in training camp. He got to go in there and say, "I'm taking my spot." Now, this is what I like about it. See,
Right.
we can't. Now he got it. There's no, I just got here. Now you done been around the Knicks for the whole all season. You got a chance to work out. He going to training camp, like El Matrix said, to distinguish yourself. Then you would know what the Knicks gonna do. Because I'm gonna tell you why. They got Farian Hunt sitting back there saying, you know what? If I lose Cam Reddish, Farian Hunt only making not even about a $1 million or whatever. He's athletic. He can play defense. He can shoot a little bit. So they might feel like, with the murders of Farian Hunt, we ain't got to pay Cam Reddish $17-15 million.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why he got to go out there and make it happen, because The Knicks gonna be like, listen, if the Knicks believe in Cam Reddish, like I said, they was about to trade him at the deadline. Then you hear that, so now, you just don't know what these things, man. Much we we love the players, but we don't know what's behind closed doors. We're not in the gym with these guys every day. We only on the outside looking in. You're not in training camp with him, you're not in practice with him. We don't see things that these guys see. Tom Thibodeau might see bad habits. He might not see something that this cat he ain't got that in him. Now I'm not saying that's him, but them the things that they see that we don't see. You know what I mean? Because we on the outside looking in. But they reevaluate all that talent, whatever. But I'm hoping Cam Reddish come into training camp, like Il said, and get it popping, man. Go in there and get it popping, man. Go in there and show him that, you know what, I am Cam Reddish, and I can play ball, and I'm a good ball player. I think he was coming into his own, Shy Powers, last year before he got injured. I agree with you, Keith. That's what you're 100% right about that. Something got to give on that roster, one way or the other. Something got to give, and I second that. I don't think they're gonna go on that roster with a full thing like that, man. Frank on the Met tip, yeah, they killing that. Him and Louis, they killing it. Frank, my man Louis Gomez, they got the old Louis song. My man, Diaz got that I can't recall it, but they be getting it popping. Listen, man, hey, great show, everybody. Thank y'all for participating.
Hold on. I'll be right back. Hold on. Don't go nowhere. Hold on,
man. We don't keep it moving. Shot got something to drop. But yeah, man, listen, man. Y'all stay locked in the Knicks Real Talk, man. Y'all know what it is. Divine, Shy Powers, KJ, my brother. Let's get it. That's what we do, man. Let's keep talking the Knicks stuff, man, to keep ourselves relevant to the training camp come, man. The preseason, then we get it popping. Baseball being good to us. Hopefully my Giants.
Hold on. All right, there we go.
We did.
There we go. Hold on, wait a minute. All right.
Okay. I'll give it props though. I mean, to come on here this week and got swept by the Cardinals.
That's all right.
But it's all good. Yankees gonna be there, man. We ain't worried about the Yankees. It's peaks and valleys in the season. But you better lose now than later. So they was hot. They're one of the hottest teams in the league. So they got to cool off every now and then. But they'd be good though. But I'm Mets doing it, bro. So I'm happy about the sports in New York right now. Hopefully the Giants and Jets have a good season. I think they're sleeping on the New York Giants. I think that team's gonna be better than more people think they are. I really do that, man. Yeah, absolutely, same record for real. Battle New York, brother. But think about who you gotta. Hey, listen, y'all gotta get the New York Mets their credit. Think of who we spanked in the last couple of weeks: the Yankees, the Atlanta Braves. All these teams are fighting to go to the World Series. We beat the Crim out there. And so you got to give us some flowers in Citi Field right now in the Queens where Knicks is playing. I mean, Mets playing some good ball though. Yankees too. The same record. New York is popping. Knicks are having popping in the Garden this year, just like the Mets did. That orange and blue gonna be rocking this year. You can bet on that. You can bet on Madison Square Garden this year. We'll be up in the place, man. Bringing y'all all the insight we can. But listen, man, we're gonna get out of here, man. You know what it is, man. Everybody got to get on their grind tomorrow. We appreciate y'all coming in, man. Real talk, man. It's been a beautiful thing, man. We could do this all night, all day, every day, all day. But at the same time, duty calls. We got responsibilities. But thank y'all so much for coming in. My man Shop holler at me, man, and let me holler at the chat, and we out.
Divine, salute to you as always, man, for getting us up out of here and putting out this great content for these New York fans. Salute to the chat. That is where it's at.
Facts.
Salute to you guys, man. As always, man. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Like KJ say, hit that like and subscribe when you can. Tell a friend to come on in here if they need some great content and stuff like that. As it get closer to the the training camp, you know what I mean? We'll get more efficient and get a little bit more out there for you guys, man. Let's get one of these trades. Let's either find out if we're going to, I think it's not going to happen until after Labor Day. So we got a little waiting period with this trade. Salute to you guys. Salute to you, Divine. Let's get it.
Yeah, real talk. Salute to the chat. That's where it's at. The most powerful dudes in the business, man. All you wise heads up in there, man. You cats is the invisible panel, man. It's like you up on here, man. That's why I got to drop your content in here and put it up on the screen because you guys just make this show, we make it relevant, man. It's like having you cats on the show. That's what's the beautiful thing about the chat. That's why I keep the chat engaged all the time. Been that way since I started. We're going to talk about a year and some months ago. I started this show because of the chat. You know what I mean? Because of these cats in there being able to voice their thoughts and ideas and drop their knowledge and their jewels on here about the team that they love. That's what we do, man. We just talk Knicks, man. This ain't for everybody, but it should be for everybody. You know what I mean? So we do what we do, man. But salute everybody, man. We see y'all cats on the next one. Y'all like and subscribe, stay notified. Hit that button, man. We holler at y'all. Real talk. Let's get it popping, man. Knicks Real Talk, man. We out of here. Peace.
Let's get it.
Time for Divine Shot, KJ events. This Real Talk is the brand. You understand how we do, my man. I'm on that Friday night Knicks shit, dripping in Knicks shit. Up in the world, most famous arena. Look at Click, that's the conglomerate. The Knicks Real Talk is real prominent. I'm a bit like the Omicron variant, dominant. Paying homage to the cat in the chat. That's where it's at. Cause I'm hearing that. You don't care for hyperbole, you straight facts. We interact with the mob, the gods. Up in the pod, the squad, the side. The entourage be on the job, my energy. Feel me tripping in tempo. As they cook my game plan, and my brand for loop and pursuit. Going hard like the New York City gritty committee. Cause that the Knicks we know is pretty, but we all stay giddy. But we embrace the fan base like the lake after your mace. We drink the go windows, airspace that appear like square space. Staring down on the Chase Bridge, look at that Knicks City drip. There's 50 dashes on the court, looking pretty legit. I stay true to the orange and blue. I thought you knew for him a few bars to shine like Star Divine to Mount Mars. Knicks Real Talk. Here we go, let's go.
Knicks Real Talk right here. I'm representing
Knicks Real Talk.
right here. Let's get it.
Here we go, let's go.
We here in the building.
Knicks Real Talk.
Let's get it.
Here we go, let's go.
Yeah, for real. Yes, sir.
Knicks Real Talk.
We here.
Here we go,
in the
let's go.
building. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, for real. Yes, sir.
Let's get it.